Now, if you provide water in the village, the time they would usually spend to go look for water would then be invested in productive activities, which is agriculture. And of course, water itself, takes care of all the usual waterborne diseases and all that, and improves the health.
DFRI was never to work like a government ministry. Village dwellers were often closely involved. For the people behind DFRI, this was part of a whole new vision. For instance, how will they react to the plight of a young mother living in a neglected village? Provide her with water, of course.
But then there are a lot of other things that we need to take a look at. I mean, roads, for instance. Before now, our rural areas were not linked into the network, national network of roads. Suddenly, they are now linked. First, inputs can get to the farms. Secondly, and to me even more importantly, farm produce can be taken much more quickly to the market. So the fellow or the farmer would now be able to sell his produce, and at times at a much higher price than hitherto, because what then used to happen is that the middleman can get to the farm. He then buys produce at rock bottom price and sells to the consumer at a very high price. So in effect, everybody benefits. You provide a community with electricity. First, I mean, the natural thing, they are able to learn what is going on around them. The quality of life is improved. Instead of using some kerosene lantern or going to bed at last light, they can now sit up. But more importantly, a lot of other things can follow rural industrialization. They can process their agricultural produce. They can introduce home and cottage industries.
This fruit juice cooperative is one such cottage industry.
We were being neglected, but this time around, government are now knowing that rural dwellers are the great provider of their food. People have been coming back now, more so those who are semi-illiterate like I am, because we have a farmer here. We thank the farmers here that they do not have educational background. So, but so far that we can talk, we can read and understand what people are telling us, so we are back.
So DFRI was to be about more than simply roads or power lines. It was about giving villagers control over their lives.
As part of the empowerment, it requires specifically a lot of enlightenment. It requires also specifically telling them the things they need to do to improve their agricultural development, for them to take part in rural industrialization. Essentially, empowerment is to enable the rural people be aware of their power.
In this business of empowerment, women were to play a major role. They produced most of the food. They raised families. This cooperative is one of thousands set up by the Better Life Program for Rural Women, a government scheme, later part of the National Commission for Women. The women here sell their pots at local prices.
They are women that can't afford to stay at home. Therefore, you find their whole day taken up, with activities, and mainly economic activities for survival. Therefore, it's just to increase, actually, what they have been doing.